There's too much hate filling our eyes, and we blame everyone. It's the state of the times, and we're all coming undone. Coming undone. Just remember that we're all the same deep inside, and we all want the same, the simple and divine, peaceful dreams in the night, a little bit of love when we cry. Free to believe as we might. Open your mind.
Hello, Carolyn Zimmerman here, coming to you from beautiful Buffalo, New York. You are listening to the Peace Warrior podcast. This podcast is for individual seekers, free thinkers, and those that are looking for more peace in life. It is the goal of the Peace Warrior to be a gentle guide on your walk toward peace, offering a safe space to come, listen, and perhaps find inspiration for the journey. Invited guests share their experiences to help shed light on the many ways we can bring peace into our lives. We will also identify and explore the many disruptors to peace and talk about effective ways to walk toward peace. I'm absolutely delighted that you have chosen to tune in today. It is, after all, a choice on how you spend your time. Weekly podcasts chronicle the walks of fellow warriors on their journey toward peace and share insights you may find valuable as you navigate your life story. I'm really happy weekly to share the music of my high school classmate, Gary Newberian. I'm so happy that he gave me permission to use his song, Just Remember, for my intro and outro music. And I'm going to surprise him this summer by showing up in Nashville. Watch out there, Bod. So check out his music on SoundCloud. It's Arthur Bod on SoundCloud, my friend Gary Newberian. Today, I am absolutely ecstatic that my friend Julie Hallifax stopped in to grab some black-eyed Susans from my garden, and I snagged her to sit for 30 minutes and be a guest on my podcast. She has no idea.
I do not.
So, Julie, what can you tell our audience about what you do? I know what you do, but our audience has no idea what you do, and I know what a benefit you are for so many people who have maybe been experiencing stressors in their life, maybe had a situation where they've lost some of their sense of peace. I also know that you've helped pregnant women too with what you do.
I have.
So why don't you tell our audience exactly who you are and what you do, the magic that you work with your hands.
Well, I am a certified reflexologist. I have worked for 20 years doing reflexology. I love what I do. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Oh, and she loves feet.
I tell people I have a foot fetish, but it's an okay thing. It's not like it's not weird or anything. It's just, I like feet.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I've helped people to calm down, they relax, they fall asleep in my chair. I've helped pregnant lazy ladies get, I help them. I help them get pregnant. I help them, give birth. Just by there's a few pressure points in the foot that represent or refer back to the ovaries and the uterus and the fallopian tube and different areas of the body that can help with the pregnancy. It can help to relieve some discomfort, and it's just amazing things.
It is, and I have myself personally experienced your magic hands as one of only 2 people on the planet. Well, no, I'm going to rephrase that. 3 people on the planet that were ever able to touch my feet without me knocking their teeth out of their head with my foot.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. I'm grateful you did not knock my teeth out.
I'm very sensitive. My feet are very sensitive, and I just do not like them touched. But you have done reflexology on me, and it was such a surprise that you honed in on things that were going on in my body that I hadn't even told you. And I also remember you working on Ralph, my husband, and he would have such good days after you had worked on him. So I probably should say the other 2 people that were able to touch my feet. My husband, it surprised me one day. I didn't realize he was actually rubbing my feet. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And my friend Robin, she gave me a pedicure actually when I was paralyzed. So that really doesn't count. That I could not feel her touching my feet.
Well, I feel blessed then. I mean, your husband got to touch your feet, and I got to touch your feet when you could actually feel them.
Yes.
I think I've done your feet, maybe 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah. And it's a magical experience. It really is. And I also know that when you are doing reflexology, you're also adding a couple other of your talents in there, because I've known you long enough to know that you are a Reiki certified practitioner.
Yes.
And you're very intuitive medically.
Yes.
Yes. Which is a gift.
It is, and I'm very grateful that I have that, because there's sometimes I can just pick up on a person's energy and know exactly where I need to go in the body as far as the reflex on the foot, or I need to ask the questions, okay, are you having problems like in this area, are you having problems in that area, is this bothering you? I did that today. I was just at an event this afternoon, and the woman's like, how'd you know that? I'm like, well, because I can actually feel that in my own body. I guess you consider that being an empath, like you can feel other people's pain. Mm-hmm. Where I'm more of a physical empath, where other people are more of an emotional empath. I feel the physical aspect of it. So if I'm working with you and I'm touching you, I can actually feel where your problem area is.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I've had not the same, but a similar experiences doing Reiki. Mm-hmm. Where I've kind of just intuitively sense mm-hmm. where my hands need to go.
Yeah.
And they had questions come that I've asked the person, and they like, well, how did you know that? It's kind of a strange thing.
It's kind of a knowing. You just don't know how you know, but you know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there that are clairsentient or clairvoyants, but for some of us, it's just, we just know.
Yeah, and I think I've actually found myself thinking from time to time that every human on the planet comes with gifts mm-hmm. and talents, and often I think that they're shut down by society.
Yeah.
Our upbringing, growing up, and people thinking, well, that's not, no.
I've always said that something that I had to go through was my family always called me stupid. And the biggest thing that I've realized through that is I'm not stupid.
Oh.
There is nothing in me that's stupid. I may have a different gift than what they have, and their gift may not be the same as mine, but it doesn't mean that my gift is wrong or that their gift is wrong. It's just your perception of how you see it.
Right.
And it doesn't make them dumb, and it doesn't make me dumb. It just makes us different.
Yeah, in last week's podcast, Debbie and I actually discussed something similar. How even though we're all the same inside, we're the way we have been, the way we grow up, the people we are exposed to, the experiences, everything, we end up being who we are, but different.
Yeah.
And isn't that a good thing?
Yes. If we were all the same, man, I don't think we could handle it.
It would be tough. I often think about how when I was growing up, I knew I was different, and I'm still very different. Some things never change, and when I get something in my head and know that it's something I have to do, there's no stopping me. So I was a nightmare for my parents, and I'm sure I gave my teachers a run for their money too, but we're expected in society to live and move and be a certain way.
And when we're not, well, then we get a label.
Yeah, you get a label, and it's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, we got a label. Whatever.
Well, I've gotten pretty good at ripping labels off. And that Goo Gone stuff, you can really get it all off. So if you ever get a label that you don't want anymore and you're having trouble getting rid of it, just get the Goo Gone. Okay?
All right. Goo Gone it is.
Goo Gone.
I always thought alcohol worked well.
Well, or orange oil or lemon oil.
Yeah.
Our oils work very well on getting that gooky stuff off.
Yes, it does.
So, reflexology, getting back to what you do.
Yes.
Where do you do reflexology?
Oh my goodness, everywhere. I have an office on Davison Road in Lockport. I'm there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday by appointments. On Tuesdays, I am in Clarence at Salon Indigo Soul on Main Street, across from Dash's Supermarket. I call it the Big Blue House.
Oh.
Like if anybody's has kids from the 90s, they know what the Big Blue House
The Big Blue House. I remember the Big Blue House from my grandson. He loved
Yeah, it's Bear in the Big Blue House.
Bear in the Big Blue House, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what I call it. I call it the Big Blue House because it's just across the street from Dash's Market. You pull in the back. It's nice there. It's a beautiful spa, and she has the owner does hairdressing. She's a hairdresser. There's another hairdresser in there. There's a woman doing nails. I do reflexology.
So kind of a full service.
Yeah.
Cool.
Kind of a
Very
full service spa that you can go to, or well, it's a salon. It's not really a spa. And then I'm also opening an office in Batavia with Dr. Gouler's cardiology.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, to have a
cardiologist. Wow.
A cardiologist that's open to reflexology. And the reason that happened is I happened to be in a spot, and he's like, I have a headache. Do you have any aspirin? I said, no, but I got 2 hands, and I'll help you. And he goes,
he went, what?
That's exactly, he goes, what are you going to do? I said, well, just give me your hand. And I was on the way out to do something, so I couldn't spend a lot of time with him, but I spent like maybe 5 minutes on his hand, and I just kind of did some reflexology on his hand, and he just kind of looks at me afterwards and he goes, is that all you had to do? I said, well, yeah. I says, you didn't take any medication. How does your head feel? He goes, I don't have that much of a headache anymore. He says, before it was pounding. I had like a migraine coming on. He says, now it's just a dull headache.
Wow.
I'm like, but I only spent like 2 or 3 minutes with him. It wasn't like I did a full session with him or anything like that. And I believe I only did 1 hand. If I had done the other hand, he may have like not had a headache at all. But
So, explain to our audience, Julie, reflexology, most people know it's done on the feet.
Yes.
But it also works on the hands.
It does.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What exactly do you want to know? How?
Well, I know there have been times when you've just grabbed my hand and done a couple of things and known. So it's like between the thumb and up the index finger, right? That correlates to the spine?
No.
No? Oh, see? Aren't you glad I asked?
Yeah, I guess so. It's from the bed of the nail of the thumb and along the outside, like the lateral side of the hand here. I would think that's the lateral side. And it comes down around your palm. That's the spinal.
Oh.
That's spine. So if you were to take your hands and kind of like make
a butterfly?
Make a butterfly, yeah. That's the spots that are touching. That's the reflex for the spine.
Oh, interesting.
So and if you kind of like move your arms, move your hands so that that's that whole.
We're making butterflies, folks, with our hands. And if we had a light behind us in a dark room, we could make shadows on the wall.
We would be making butterflies. Yes. So, I mean, for the spinal area, you from the bed of the thumb to like the knuckle, your thumb knuckle. That's the cervical area. From that knuckle to the base of your palm, that's more the thoracic. If you move over to where your crease, that's a little bit more of the thoracic area. But then you have the lumbar in there, and then the lower, like if you were to, what would you call this? Like the end part of the hand here, the palm, where it goes
on the
across.
inside, near the wrist.
Yeah.
The base of your, well, if you do that, it looks like a butt.
She's got a butt here.
I didn't tell you I have fun on my podcast, did I?
Yeah, I'm finding this out. If you were to take your pinky and your thumb from that spot where the crease is to the edge of where the pinky finger is, at the wrist area, that's the lumbar area. So if you put just a little pressure in there, if you were to use an inchworm type of an inchworm, an inchworm kind of goes like just a little at a time.
Yeah.
If you just do a
little bit of a massage.
Well, not even a massage, but
just
like
pressure.
Yeah,
a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it's walking
your thumb.
Yeah, walking your thumb, walking the caterpillar, and just it's on-off pressure. I think that's what Lori would call it, on-off pressure.
Interesting.
And that will help to alleviate some back pain. If you have shoulder pain, it will help there. If you have neck issues, it will help with that.
It's just so interesting. It really is.
I tell people all the time, I says, you might tell me you don't have any time, but there is at some point in your life you're going to have to sit on the toilet. At some point during your life, you have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, you've got a perfect opportunity to work on your spine or just your hand or whatever, just to give yourself that relief that you need. There's even a spot for like the intestinal area. So, I mean, if you having issues and that problems in that area, there's a spot for that.
So, Julie, what was it? 20, whatever, how many, you said 20 years you've been doing reflexology?
Well, my son's going to be 22 this year, so 22.
22 years. What is it that drew you to reflexology?
Well, the fact that somebody told me it was feet.
So you've always liked feet.
I've always liked feet. The baby feet are so cute. Like, people's feet are just cute. I had a niece who is a massage therapist, and I was having a lot of problems with my pregnancy and with my youngest son, when I was getting ready for my youngest son to come into the world. And he would lay on my sciatic nerve, and just like my legs would go out from underneath me, and I'd be like just like tripping and things like that. And it was an awful experience because I was working in a factory, and you're trying to do all of these things, and you're pregnant, and you're like, you got to grab on the stuff. Well, there's certain things in a factory you do not want to grab onto because you could slip, you could fall, you could do a lot of other things, and you could do more damage to yourself. So my niece had said, she says, well, I don't know, but my my mom's going to somebody, I don't know, she does something with your feet. She couldn't explain it to me, so I had to call my sister and ask my sister, what's this that you're doing with your feet? And she goes, oh, this lady, she's a reflexologist. She works on my feet and my back feels better, and, you know, I just have more energy and my circulation's better. And, you know, I said, well, cool. Can I have her phone number? So I went to her my first time, and I went home after my first treatment. Now, mind you, I'm 6 months pregnant. I pulled the refrigerator out.
Oh, dear.
I vacuumed behind the refrigerator. I put the refrigerator back. I pulled the couch out from behind the wall. I vacuumed behind the couch. I had 2 other little kids. We were running around having a grand old time. You know, of course, they were at school. I just had to, you know, I did all of these other things and cleaned the bathroom. And by the time the kids got home, they're like, hey, Mom, how you doing? I'm like, great, what do you want to do? I'm like, I got so much energy, I didn't know what to do with it.
Wow.
It was awesome.
So, I heard a lot of things there as you were saying that. Energy.
Yeah.
Circulation. No pain in your legs. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm going to say this right now, and everyone can hear it. When the construction phase of my renovations are done here, I'm going to have you do reflexology so I have the energy to clean all this mess up.
You have that now.
You think?
Yeah, I think you have lots of energy. You just got that fun vibe.
Fun. Well, you do know that fun is my favorite F word.
Minus feet.
Well, they're both F words anyway. Oh boy. Let's see. How can we put that in a song?
Fun feet, fun feet, fun feet.
Fun feet. Oh my goodness. Well, Julie, so we talked about what reflexology is, what brought you to reflexology. How intense was the training?
Oh, for me it was 1 weekend a month for every 3 months. But you do have to have your anatomy and physiology, and it's a little bit more intense now, I think, because you do have to have the anatomy, the physiology. You have to know the body parts, the body systems. You have to know the reflex points in the hands and feet, and there's a lot to it. But for me, it was fun. It was just knowing and being fun, and it was exciting and something new to learn. It was grand.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you there. I love learning new things and experiencing new things and being challenged to do new things that I've never done, which I've experiencing a lot of new things recently.
Grand. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to learn.
It is, yeah. And there's so many more things I want to do and learn, that I guess I'm happy at times that my schedule isn't full of work. I'm figuring out how to have the life I want without being tied to the JOB.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if you love your JOB, then you have no problem at all to just go to WORK.
Well, and you know that I do love what I do.
I know you do.
I love what I do. Unfortunately, it has been kind of on the back burner for over a year because of the world situation.
That's putting it gently.
Yeah, well, I do try to keep this PG, so it's been a challenge, but even during the challenge I found the gifts and the good times and branching out and doing things and learning new things, like shooting my gun. Which I never thought I would do, but anyway, and riding a motorcycle again, and just other thing. I want to ride a horse.
Oh, me too.
Oh, let's do it.
Where do you want to go?
I don't know. We have to find a horse.
A horse, of course. Well, maybe some of your listeners know where to send you for a horseback riding.
Yeah, because even though this is going to sound completely out of I don't know, crazy, not even crazy. I lived for a period of my life on a horse farm.
Really?
And never rode a horse because it was not allowed. The horses were for breeding purposes only.
Oh.
And so anyway.
A lot of stallions.
No, these were American saddlebred horses, and I don't remember everything, but all I was allowed to do was sit on the fence and feed them apples. Anyway, so horseback riding's on my list of things to do. And archery. I want to do archery again.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I remember doing that when I was younger.
Yeah. So, yeah, I get these little whims and I just go, okay, I'm going to do that. Debbie and I decided when we were talking, having our podcast conversation, that we're going to rollerblade. She's got her rollerblades. I don't have mine again yet, but I'm going to get them, and we're going to, so horseback riding, rollerblading, all this fun stuff.
Good luck with your rollerblading. I'm not for that.
Oh, well, so we've given our audience something to listen to for sure. Fun and feet, reflexology, not only being a healing tool, but relieving stress and bringing someone back to a sense of peace, which is what the Peace Warrior is all about. And oh my goodness, looking at the time here on the recording, we are nearing the 30-minute mark. Well, we got a little bit of leeway here. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our audience about reflexology, or how it has here we go. How has it enhanced your life?
I've met a lot of really awesome people.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I mean, it's just amazing, the people that come in that have issues or problems, or they just want to try it out, or they've heard about me, and the people are the best.
Yeah.
They're the absolute best.
People are good, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm just so grateful that I've met so many interesting new people, and they're very open-minded to what I do. Some of them not so open, but you'll wean them in there a little bit.
Yeah. Have you seen a change in the receptivity? Is that a word? Receptivity? People's perception?
Yes.
Of reflexology? Have you seen a shift?
I have. Before I was not very busy. I always had to not necessarily struggle, but you tell people you're going to work on their feet, and they're like, "Oh, I hate my feet. You're not touching my feet. My feet are gross."
That was me.
Or you got the ones that are like, "My feet are really ticklish."
That was me.
Yes. And once you start working on a person's foot, they're like, "That doesn't tickle at all." I have one client out of all the clients I've ever worked on, they're like, I have to go and get my phone and look at her phone so she's not thinking about her feet and me touching them, because she's extremely sensitive.
Wow.
But that is only one person out of 600-700 people, one. So.
Well, that's interesting. Well, I can tell everyone that yes, I'm ticklish as hell. I don't like my feet. I don't even wear sandals because I don't like my feet. I don't want my feet seen. I don't want them touched. But Julie's hands are magic. They are magic.
I love my hands. Thank you.
I love your hands.
I think a lot of people love my hands.
I'm sure they do. And one last question I would like to ask you before we begin to wrap it up. I know I have sensed over the last maybe 4 or 5 years a real shift in the perception of people's perception of the what we used to call woo-woo arts, the holistic arts, Reiki, massage is way more accepted now. Chiropractic, even when I was growing up, you were a quack if you were a chiropractor.
Yes.
So all of these, essential oils, all of these things, the holistic realm or world, have you sensed that shift in?
Yes, I think a lot of people are now looking outside the box for healings and different things.
Outside the medical model.
Yeah, outside. Yes.
Yeah.
I call it outside the box because
Yeah.
people are just they're so. Go to the doctor. He gives me a pill. It's supposed to make me all better. It's more than just taking a pill.
Right.
It's more than just knowing that. You got to do everything.
Yeah. I've always been an advocate for at least 25 years for blended medicine.
Yes.
Blended medicine. It's not one or the other in my mind.
No, it's both.
It's both. Yeah.
You have to have it both. You have
Yeah.
to have everything. You have to bring everything in together.
Into balance.
And balance everything out. And it's not just your physical body, it's your mental body, it's your emotional body, it's also your spiritual body. You can't just have physical problems. If it gets to the physical problems, you've already bypassed the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual, which need to be in balance with the physical in order for everything to balance out and to feel better.
Right.
And if something's out of balance, then your whole life is out of balance.
Yes. Okay, so what Julie just said about being out of balance with body, mind, and spirit affects the physical body. So on that note, I'm gonna say it so everyone can hear it. I'm gonna have Julie come back at another time, and we're gonna explore that end of bringing peace into people's lives.
Okay.
That just so we won't forget, folks. We won't forget, because I love Julie. She's a wonderful friend, and magic hands. She really has magic hands. So,
I'm glad.
Julie, I want to thank you so much for sticking around here for a little bit after plopping in my garden. And it has become my custom since I did my first podcast to leave our audience with 3 thoughts for the day. And I usually choose them ahead of time, but I just opened my little notebook here. And this is thought number 1 today. Life is about being real, humble, and kind. And that thought absolutely describes my friend Julie. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Now, one of the things that, for number 2, I'd like people to think about is that it isn't always wise to go along to get along. It's okay to think outside the box. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay to look for other options. Going along to get along, you have to figure out what the cost of it is. It might be too expensive.
It might be.
Thought number 3. Never look back. There's nothing there for you. You can have the memories and cherish them, but we have rear view mirrors for a reason.
You'll leave it back there.
You'll leave it back there. So, in wrapping up today, I want to again thank Julie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For being here, and remind our audience to listen to my friend Gary Nubarian on his SoundCloud, Arthur Bod. And until the next time, I want to thank you all for listening. God bless you, your families and loved ones, our troops, first responders, and these United States. Keep calm and saunter on. This podcast is produced by yours truly and can be found on podbean.com, YouTube, Facebook, and anywhere else I can publish it. Have a great rest of your day, folks, or as I like to say, have the best day of your life so far.